So you're wondering if swearing in the workplace can land you or your coworker in trouble? If you're not the swearing type, then this can be very frustrating, especially if you see that everyone seems to get away with it. But if you're someone who swears like there's no tomorrow, then pay attention as you might be treading on thin ice. Profanity in the workplace is a sensitive topic, and sometimes it's not openly discussed, which leaves individuals very uncertain, confused, and left out. Now, to answer the question if swearing is okay in the workplace, you need to consider two things. First is this a culture thing? Second, what's the intention? My name is Ryan, and I'm an HR professional. And with my 20 plus years of experience in operations and human resources, I've seen a lot of employees who get into trouble and even get terminated just because they don't know that swearing in their workplace was crossing the line. But when does it cross the line? And when is it okay to swear? As mentioned, there's two things to consider here. Let's dive into the first one, culture. There's some companies out there where swearing seems to be fine and accepted. You might see a lot of these in blue-collar industries like transportation, construction, or mining. I'm not trying to discredit these professions, but historically, this is just the case. This, of course, is not limited to these industries only. It can be present in any company and any industries, and it's just a part of the day-to-day. Don't get me wrong, there's no guarantee that swearing will not get you into trouble. It can be complicated and is really depending on the culture of your company. On the other hand though, there's also companies where professionalism is high on their company character, and dropping the F-bomb, regardless if it's an expression or a joke, will land you a meeting with HR and can isolate you from your coworkers. But I guess by now you probably already know what type of culture your company has. But say for example, your company doesn't really mind employees swearing, so as long as it's not causing anyone to be uncomfortable, and you feel that this is not the right environment for you. In my experience, there's really not a lot you can do. If it's ingrained in a company's culture and is considered as acceptable by management, then it's really hard to avoid it. Not unless you own the company or you're the CEO, where you can just change the company's code of ethics from top to bottom. The best thing you can do really is just to do your best and adjust to the work environment. If you don't want to move to another company and don't want to change who you are, then just don't mind the swearing. I'm sure your coworkers in time will realize that you're just not the swearing kind. But if you can't stand it and affects you negatively, then maybe it's good to find another company that complements your values or seek advice from your manager, employment relations, or HR. I'm sure they will guide you in the right direction. But what if the swearing is directed towards you in a more sinister and negative way? Well, this takes us to our second point, intention. If there's someone in your workplace that is swearing directly towards you or another person with the intent to insult, threaten, or scare, even if swearing is part of the culture and is widely accepted in your company, this can be considered as workplace harassment or violence, which can lead to disciplinary measures that can include termination. So, the question to ask really is, what was the intention of the swearing? Was it just an expression and is usually part of the culture and not directed to anyone? Or is it directed to someone with the intent to harass, insult, or harm that person? If this is the case, then it needs to be taken seriously as it might lead to workplace violence, and we all don't want that. If you witness anything like this, then you have to report it to your supervisor or HR right away. If this is happening to you, then you need to keep your cool and remove yourself in that situation right away. It can be very easy to retaliate, especially when emotions are high. But the right thing to do here is to de-escalate the situation by taking deep breaths and physically removing yourself away from that environment. The next best thing to do is to talk to your supervisor or HR and ask for help and advice. Let me tell you a secret. As an HR professional, I also do sometimes swear. Although I'm not really good at it, it just sounds weird if I say the F word. You see, dealing with people's issues can be extremely stressful, and I also need some strategies to cope. We're also just human, you know. I try my best to keep my cool, but sometimes anybody can reach a boiling point. But I don't swear in front of my kids and my wife, and I don't swear in front of others as well, especially in the workplace. If I need to swear, I swear in private or behind closed doors to let out steam. This helps me get to the right mindset so that I don't get emotionally hijacked and make the wrong decision that I might regret later. It gives me a chance to breathe and keep cool and be composed. There's a lot of tools and resources that can help you set clear expectations in the workplace, like the Code of Conduct, Employee Handbook, or the Workplace Harassment or Workplace Violence Policy. You can ask all of these tools from your HR, and you can also reach out to your HR for advice. If you don't have access to HR, then you can share in the comments below any challenges that you're going through in the workplace, and I will try my best to support you. Alright, so there you have it. Another video that I hope added value to you in navigating the workplace. If it did add value, then I would really appreciate that you like and subscribe to my channel. This helps me grow this community and allow us to share our experience and knowledge to more people like you. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.